Record. Heading. Home. Search. Going. Blind. Search. Page 6 of 7. Adjust. Page 3 of set. Page 2 of. RAM. YouTube. 20 comp. YouTube. Auto. Can't play. Rewind. Play. But speech off.
Hey guys, we're listening to a race today. It's gonna be a long one, but gonna have some fun with it.
And what the effect that Dale Earnhardt had on that series, that's what Mike Stepanek had in the Whelen Modified Tour. And it was just heartwarming to see all the crew members applaud one more time Mike Stepanek.
A 15-time winner here at Thompson Speedway in Whelen Modified Tour competition, but countless other wins throughout his career. Here they are, the first time coming on through under pace speed. That's Sunoco pace car out in front at Thompson Speedway. Chevrolet Camaro leading the way. Andrew Krause in the 24 from Palmdale, New Jersey. You've got the Long Island, New York driver, the 51, Justin Bonsignore. And Bonsignore, by the way, who has been just so good here at this racetrack. He's won every race that's been run here in the last 2 years except for one. And that was the last time we raced here, and that one went to Doug Coby in the 2-car to break the streak. But Bonsignore, one of the favorites coming in, got a very strong pit crew on pit lane led by Ryan Stone, Doug Coby in the 2. Remember, Coby to win the championship has to finish 14th or better regardless of what Justin Bonsignore does, and he'll be a 6-time Whelen Modified Tour champion.
Doug Coby is pretty calculating. I think he knows exactly what he needs to do. We proved it when we talked to him in the Q&A. But there's an old cliche in motorsports, when the point leader wins the final race, you don't have to do any arithmetic. And I think Coby, he might be, especially in the beginning of the race, going all out to get to the winner's circle.
Field coming through this time by Patrick Emmerling in the 07. Has got a very experienced man behind him calling the shots in the form of Jan Leedy. It's a great combination. That car can look to do great things. How about Ronnie Silk in that black and purple number 85, a former champion of the series as well. And he's a guy who knows how to win at this racetrack. This is one of his better racetracks. When you look at it statistically, Ronnie Silk in that 6th position, car 85, somebody to keep an eye on, drove this 150.
You might not be able to see that in the beginning of the race, but at Thompson, Ron Silk is one of the big-time closers. So expect to see him shine in the second 75 laps. So we got the first win this season for the car owner, our first of his career for Kevin Stewart, and he is lined up with Chris Pastriak looking for his first ever Whelen Modified Tour victory.
Race fans, as the field makes their way down the back straightaway, this time through up into the banking of turn number 3, we're going to need your help. We're going to need you to give these drivers a big Thompson Speedway World Series send-off. Take your hat, program, whatever you brought with you here today, stand up on your feet, send these drivers off, give them a big wave. You'll be on NBC if you do. We get set to go racing here this afternoon. Whelen Modified Tour, 40 strong here this day. Thompson Speedway, the quiet corner of the state, but not for the next hour and a half.
No, it will be rowdy. So thank you for showing your support to these heroes as they move into turn number 1. We direct your attention to the starter stand. Our Grand Marshal getting ready to wave the green flag, Amy St. Ange. So she is ready for action. We are ready for action. And ready behind the microphone, coming after a successful appearance at the Busket 250, he is ready for the grand finale of 2019, Joe Koss.
Field rolls down into turn number 3, looking for the green flag this time. Justin Bonsignore on the inside lane. It's Andrew Krause, the pole sitter, who will command the start as they come up off turn number 4, looking for the green flag. Amy St. Ange atop the flag stand, ready to turn them loose here in the Sunoco 150. Field comes off turn number 4, and the green flag is out, and we are underway on World Series weekend.
And Bonsignore already on a mission in car number 51, but here comes Krause. Got some lift off the second turn, and it goes into the lead.
Andrew Krause saying, what championship battle? I'm going after the lead. Here is Krause to lead him up off turn number 4. Bonsignore right behind him, Krause sideways off the turn. That means Bonsignore to feather that throttle ever so slightly and settle into the second spot.
Getting a little red bumpers on the inside. Doug Coby, as he is trying it out in the other lane for the number 3 spot. Bonsignore looks on the back bumper of Krause. takes it down low as he tries to whirlwind his way underneath Kraus and move into the lead.
Bottom of turn number 1, Bonsignor on the 51 goes wheel to wheel with Andrew Kraus. Kraus steps up to the high lane of the racetrack. He's got momentum to the side, and it'll work to his advantage into turn number 3. So Kraus holds on to the top spot. Then it's Justin Bonsignor, Patrick Emmerling, and Doug Covey, your top 4.
Still right behind them, and Craig Lutz has moved into 6th place. So 2 cars pulling away from the pack. Kraus and Bonsignor. Pastriak is stuck on the inside. He is losing some ground and now makes a lunge at Timmy Salamito trying to pick up a spot.
A pretty aggressive move early on by the 75. Chris Pastriak to dive down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Meanwhile, up front, Bonsignor going back on the attack, trying to find a way around that 24 of Andrew Kraus. This time they're dead even off the end of the back straightaway into turn 3.
And he makes a lunge, and it will be Justin Bonsignor. He will be leading.
Trouble, turn 4. The 75 goes around. It's Chris Pastriak off the front bumper of the 16, Timmy Salamito. Pastriak is able to continue on, spun it without hitting anything through the grass, comes back up to speed. The caution flag is out for the 75 who went spinning down through the infield up off turn number 4. It all started when Chris Pastriak, making some very aggressive moves in the early part of this race, got up off turn number 4, came across the nose of Timmy Salamito. Salamito wasn't going to lift, sent it down through the grass. The 75 went spinning, didn't hit anything. The caution is out. 6 laps in to the Sunoco 150.
There was also a problem for Patrick Emmerling as he had trouble on the backstretch as he lost ground, made a quick pit stop. We'll find out about that stop and everything else from our pit reporters, Pete Falcone and Dave Baribault.
Yeah, Patrick Emmerling is right back here in his spot. No oil pressure is the report from their crew, and they're going to try and take a look and figure it out. A tough break for him, although a well-timed caution because he would have come in here under the green. So they're looking under the hood of the 07 to try and find out what's going on.
All of a sudden, that car lost its energy supply, and it was free-falling to the rear of the field. And as Pete said, very fortunate caution, and he was able to come in twice to try to correct that problem of no oil pressure. And there is Emmerling. He will go rejoining his pals, or will he make another stop as he is trying to stay on the lead lap? Pastriak is in at car number 75.
Yeah, no surprise there with his spin down through the grass. The problem is when you get into the grass here, a lot of times it's just like your lawnmower at the end of the day. It kicks up all that extra grass on top of the lawnmower. Well, the problem is in a race car, it's kind of the radiator that it gets all clogged up. So you've got to go in there and get that grass and dirt out of that radiator. They're also looking, Pete, at the left rear where he made contact with Timmy Salamito.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good body damage there, too. They're going to try and uncrinkle that a little bit, but they want to make sure that it's not more than cosmetic. So they're going to have a good look while we remain under caution.
All right, Pete Falcone working pit lane for us here today. Andrew Moeller is on pit road in the 535. As we work the first caution here, now 8 laps in to the Sunoco 150. Matt, the 24 car of Andrew Kraus has been an interesting story, and we noted how this car has been running very well here at Thompson Speedway, so no surprise to see him on the pole. Last time we were here, last time he raced here, he came home in the 7th spot, and that was during the Bud 150 in the month of August. But I'm surprised, knowing that there's a championship battle on the line, how aggressive Andrew Kraus is being, racing with Justin Bonsignor, racing with Doug Covey. Certainly not that he's got to give anything away, but he's not holding anything back among these champions. He's going at it.
Well, he has sponsors, and I think they want to see him fight for the lead, and they have seen it through the first handful of laps. Emmerling is back. That is the 3rd time he has been on pit road. And the reason he keeps going out and coming back in, he wants to stay on the lead lap. So Timmy Catalano, he made a trip to pit road. Pastriak is out in car number 75. So a lot of drama on the pit, in the pits already, as we have completed 9 laps. So Kraus, I think he likes hanging out with the big boys, Bonsignor and Covey. So we'll see what he does on this restart. Bonsignor has elected to go on the outside, as the leader has that option of inside or outside. And most of the time, the leader will pick outside, but there are some times where they go against the common strategy. We'll see what happens to Bonsignor.
I think that may change throughout the day. As Doug Covey said earlier in a pre-race interview, he said at the end of the race, I'm probably taking the bottom because that's probably a safe place for me. But right now, it's not about being safe. It's about being aggressive at this point in the race and controlling the pace. We'll be 10 laps in when we get the green flag. Justin Bonsignor is the race leader on the outside lane of the racetrack as we come down to the green flag and we're back underway.
Selk explodes like lava out of a volcano. He moves into second, right behind the back bumper of Bonsignor.
Here comes 85 Ronnie Silk, and he's got help from the 16 of Timmy Salamito up the top side of the racetrack. So it's now Bonsignor, Ronnie Silk second. Third now belongs to the 16 of Timmy Salamito, and don't look now. How about that pink and black number 36? That's Bobby Santos.
And Andrew Krause has faded from fourth to fifth as he has lost 4 positions since it started. Kobe is right behind him in car number 2. The then Kit Kat in the black number 1 car. But it is Bonsignor getting an early challenge for Ron Silk.
Here they come back down into turn number 2. Bonsignor, Silk. Silk's had a really good season here this year as well with that Kevin Stewart, number 85, go a little bit deeper in the field. You see some good action. Woody Pitkat starting to carve his way through the field. And one, as he works over the back bumper of Doug Covey.
Trouble in turn 3.
Oh, boy.
As we have a mess, about 8 cars involved. In the middle of that is Bertuccio in the 12. And we have a traffic jam.
Boy, it might be easier to list off who wasn't in that wreck than who was.
I think a lot of these guys will be able to drive away.
A couple of the drivers involved, Andy Jankowiak was in it.
And
they're going to throw the red flag.
Because that is a very easy car to spot, that lime green, number 55.
So Joey Muchacharo is in it. The 18 of Ken Hagee is involved. Calvin Carroll is in it. We mentioned the 47 of Joey Muchacharo, his car involved in the incident as well. The green number 55, that's Andy Jankowiak. He's in the middle of that accident.
Mark Buckeye in the 52.
Red flag is out for the second incident here, lap 12 of the Sunoco 150. All happened at the end of the back straightaway. One car got down into the grass. It was the 22 car of Kyle Bonsignor. He got into the grass, and the car spun to the right, went up the racetrack. Everybody hit the brakes and then hit each other. Like a good old-fashioned traffic stop up at I-90 on the Mass Pike where you got nowhere to go but sit in traffic. When Bonsignor's car came across the racetrack, everybody climbed on the brakes. They had nowhere to go and just piled in. You know, one thing I've noticed about the track here, Matt, and if you're sitting up in turn number 4, you probably see this better than anybody because you're behind the cars as they come off the turn. Those cars are getting really loose coming up off the turn. This track is very different than it was here yesterday. Yesterday, coming off the rain on Friday, you come into the race here yesterday, practice, it's cool conditions, a little bit of moisture in the air. Today, 65 degrees and sunny. The track is different. They've been really, really skating around out there in the racetrack. So some of these teams, certainly when they get to the accelerator, putting all that horsepower down coming off the corners, the car's been stepping out to the sideways. When you climb on the brakes, kind of does the same thing without a lot of heat in the tires.
We noticed that right on the first lap. There were a couple of drivers who had some stutter steps coming off the corner. Now, Patrick Emmerling was going to make a pit stop under green, and that would have KO'd his chances, but then the yellow came out. Remember, they can't work on the car now because it's a red flag, but Emmerling was going to be multiple laps down because he was hitting under green, but then the green turned into red. So that might be a break for Emmerling if they can quickly make some improvements to that car, but it is still a mess. A log jam in between turns 3 and 4, right to the left of the Bud Light turn. And one of our drivers is able to get away, but it looks like he has a flat left front tire.
Other cars involved that we haven't mentioned, Gary Putnam in the 77 car, and 12 car for J.R. Bertuccio also involved up in the incident in turns 3 and 4. So the red flag is out. While we take a moment to clean this wreck up from turns 3 and 4, and get the racetrack cleared and ready to go. Patrick Emmerling is down on pit lane, and Pete Falcone, when you've got the opportunity here under the red flag, it gives you a bit of time to look at the race car and strategize a little bit as to what you might do to try to fix the oil pressure problem that they had earlier in the race. And sometimes a situation like that early in the race could be good for a guy like Patrick Emmerling.
Well, a little bit of a team meeting going on, as at least they can discuss what they're going to look at first. They've got the air cleaner off the car, and 3 or 4 of the guys have been looking over the engine. So they got a plan as to where they're going to go as soon as that red flag is lifted and they can get under there and actually take a look and figure out what this oil pressure problem is.
Pete Falcone down on pit lane for us here today. The 77 car badly damaged for Gary Putnam. They've got that car on the hook, pulling it down the banking in turns 3 and 4. Matt, at the start of the race today, you mentioned about Timmy Solomito, who just last night at about midnight or so released on social media that this would be the last ride in the number 16 team. That Eric Sanderson, the car owner who has been on the Whelen Modified Tour as an owner for many, many years. One of those cars that kind of reminds you of.
And Elwood is making his way back out. Muchachero is staying on pit road. So according to our monitor here in the booth, Joe, Emmerling is a lap down, but he can get that lap back by virtue of the lucky dog. So Emmerling not in too bad a shape, because 1 lap down, that means he is the first car that will get that lucky dog on the next caution.
Matt, on that round of pit stops, Doug Coby had to come down pit lane. The left rear tire had gone flat. Pete, what happened?
Well, that's what they're trying to figure out. They got the tire here. They got 3 or 4 guys looking at it, trying to figure out what would have caused it to go down, looking all over it. And so therefore, they haven't figured out yet whether he ran over something or what the be, but they got the tire out there and everybody's looking at it, trying to figure it out. That was an interesting situation there to have him come in early, but luckily, because of the caution, he's able to come in and change a tire without losing a lap.
So, Pete, that puts Doug Coby back in the 28th position, exactly where he doesn't want to be. He's deep in the field, 40 cars on track, and things could change quickly for Doug Coby in the championship chase. Justin Bonsignor trying to seize and capitalize on the struggles for Doug Coby. Contact Coby. He gets into the side of the 22 with Gary McDonald on the back straightaway and nearly went down through the infield grass.
And he looks strong now. It was Bonsignor in car number 22, the car in front of him, and Coby able to get by him as he is able to get by Catalano, and a pretty good recovery by Coby. Remember, now the yellow comes back out. Doug Coby, he wanted to be at least in the top 14, so I think his strategy just went out the window, and now he will come up with a different game plan.
Man.
Doug Coby,
wow,
29th. Now we adjust our scoring, and he is 25th.
So this changes the complexion of everything. So Justin Bonsignor, Ryan Stone, his crew chief, has said to him, listen, the 2-car of Doug
Speech
Coby,
off.
they've got...
CLP. Speech off. Speech on. Smurfy, Smurfing it up at the video play. Auto out is cat play replay net full track 17 minutes 50 seconds.
Yeah. So this
10 days ago. Action subscribe video auto cat play replay net full track 17 minutes 46 seconds of 1 hour 46 minutes 57 NASCAR. Some full races to go to classic NASCAR auto cat play replay for next full track 17 speech off.
As he is able to get by Catalano.
Coby, contact Coby. He gets into the side of the 22 with Gary McDonald on the back straightaway and nearly went down through the infield. Coby wanted
for something or what could be, but they got the tire out there and everybody's looking at it, trying to figure it out. That was an interesting situation there to have him come in early, but luckily, because of the caution, he's able to come in and change a tire without losing a lap.
So, Pete, that puts Doug Coby back in the 28th position, exactly where he doesn't want to be. He's deep in the field, 40 cars on track, and things could change quickly for Doug Coby in the championship chase. Justin Bonsignor trying to seize and capitalize on the struggles for Doug Coby. Contact Coby. He gets into the side of the 22 with Gary McDonald on the back straightaway and nearly went down through the infield grass.
And he looks strong now. It was Bonsignor in car number 22, the car in front of him. And Colby able to get by him as he is able to get by Catalano. And a pretty good recovery by Colby. Remember, now the yellow comes back out. Doug Colby, he wanted to be at least in the top 14, so I think his strategy just went out the window, and now he will come up with a different game plan.
Man,
Doug Colby,
wow,
29th. Now we adjust our scoring, and he is 25th.
So this changes the complexion of everything. So Justin Bonsignor, Ryan Stone, his crew chief, has said to him, listen, the 2-car of Doug Colby, they've got problems. Now, it's still early in the race. We're only 19 laps in, and a lot can happen. But keep an eye on that 2-car of Doug Colby, because here's the thing. There's a lot of drivers out here in the race today that aren't usually on the Whelen Modified Tour. Sometimes they run at the Riverhead Raceway, or they run at other racetracks, but maybe they're not full-time drivers. And they're drivers...
Sir, YouTube, 20
that Doug Colby
YouTube, Smurfy, Smurfing it up at the other house. Call me hand gesture with immediate video. Can't play pre repod. 8 full trend, 18 minutes 6 speech off.
Race around a lot. They're in the race today. Aren't usually on the Whelen Modified Tour. Sometimes they run at the Riverhead Raceway, or they run at other racetracks, but maybe they're not full-time drivers. And they're drivers that Doug Colby doesn't race around a lot. The challenge there becomes is you don't know their tendencies. You don't know what to expect out of them. And so when you try to make a move to the left, you anticipate what the other driver's going to do. Doug Colby anticipated what was going to happen off turn number 2. He made contact with another car and nearly went through the grass on the back straightaway after that green flag. That's why he can't afford to be back there.
Speed.
In
Easy voice recorder. Active.
If he wants to win.
Easy voice recorder. Record. Heading. Record. Period M4. 22 minutes. Pause. But cancel. Stop. Button.